Hello, hello, friends. It says that we are live, so I'm going to assume that that is the case. The chances of us having technical difficulties on this live stream between me and Brad are 100%. So if it does seem like there's something wrong with your connection, it's not your connection. It's definitely a technical difficulty on either my side or Brad's side with the internet. But just bear with us while we fix it. But anyway, tonight I'm happy to have one of my buddies, another content creator, Brad of the Comeback Card Investor, and I had him on maybe a few weeks back, and then I've been on his channel as well. But I want to definitely do this on the regular, so I had to get him back on. Wanted to talk about just a few hobby topics, cards, sports, etc., life. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Brad in if he is there. Let me see if he is there.
Oh, hey, Dustin. What's up, man? Can you see me okay?
Okay. Yeah.
I think your internet's jacked up. I'm right here.
Brad's investing in graded vintage modems.
What's up, guys? Got my perm done. Got my bathrobe on, so you know it's Sunday night.
Yeah.
We got David Hunter, Gem Mint 10, Ben Clark. Dude, all of our familiar guys. DJ's there, Grumpy Card Guy. It's a good night, man. How's it going over there?
It's going good. Yeah, I can't complain so far. I mean, the Saints won. The Saints beat the Falcons without our without our Hall of Fame quarterback. It's Taysom Hill time, maybe, sort of. I don't know.
It's interesting. I sold a Jameis Winston Bowman rookie card, PSA 10, that I bought back in February, March when I was first getting in for $60. I bought it for about $20. But just because Drew Brees went down, I sold that card. And it was still in his Seminoles jersey. But I'm glad that Drew Brees went down just for that little window for me to sell that Jameis Winston, especially for the fact that he didn't start. But I hope Drew Brees gets better, just not against the Bucs.
Well, I read he has 11 fractured ribs, so he needs to toughen up. I've heard that one fractured rib is hard enough. I can't imagine 11. He was
How many do we have, though? I thought we only had like 6.
I don't think I have 11. I'm pretty sure I'm short of 11. Yeah, Brees is that weirdo has 11 ribs.
Yeah. Well, is there like one? Is it that we have 12 and there's one rib that's not injured, or do we have like 18 or something? Because I thought we only had 8 ribs.
I don't know. For the anatomy majors in the chat, if you could let us know how many ribs we're supposed to have. Brees has fractured 11 of his, so I don't know.
Well, yeah. Either way, that sucks. But at least y'all won.
And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes me think that maybe he was already dealing with something with that before it happened, because that's just, I mean, he did take a massive hit, literally like a 400-pound guy just pancaked laid on top of him. So I mean, maybe it all happened, but I don't know. Kind of
sounds like he has brittle bones, man. Sounds like he needs to be on the TB12's plant-based diet, whatever Tom Brady's doing, because
he's a little guy. It's funny. I have a brother that's 30. He's actually probably your age, 32, 33. And he's 6'4". I'm about 6 foot. And he was in New Orleans doing brunch. One thing that's cool is if you go to Saints games, the downtown New Orleans is so small that it's very easy to see players and those guys. So, so he went out to brunch just randomly, went out to like early morning breakfast and saw Brees with a bunch of his Purdue buddies last season downtown. And he took pictures of him. And he's like, man, Brees is a little dude in person. And I'm like, what? Well, he's like 6'4", 230, my brother. But
that's average. 6'4", 230 is average for a football player.
Yeah, he was like, he looks like you. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. He's like, he's small and just strange.
Yeah, he's a pretty small dude, though. But I think what is confusing is that he's not like Russell Wilson, where you think short and scrambler. I think if Drew Brees ran really well, it would be easier to think of him as small, at least for me. But the fact that he's such a good pocket passer makes me think that he's just a normal size quarterback, like not Ben Roethlisberger big, but decent size. But anyway, I hope he gets better for your sake. And he is a Sigma Chi, and that was a fraternity I was in. I don't know if you knew that. Drew Brees and Sean Payton are both Sigma Chi's. So, and Brad Pitt. So that's all we got.
Nice. Okay. Pretty good pedigree.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah, no, honestly, watching Taysom Hill, I mean, he had some moments that weren't great. He fumbled the ball in a run, etc. He lowered his shoulder and tried to run through a safety. Like, hey, dude, you're a starting quarterback now. Like, you need to take it easy on that stuff. But all in all, I mean, for being his first start ever, that's the most snaps he's ever taken as a pro. I mean, we'll take it.
Well, who did you have? Did you want Jason Hill or did you want Jameis Winston?
I was kind of either or, honestly, because I think Jameis Winston is a good player. Obviously, you worry about him throwing picks and turning the ball over, but can he run an offense? Can he get the ball downfield? Yeah. I mean, he can do that. And we don't necessarily need Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill to throw the ball 40 times a game for 400 yards. We have a really good running game, et cetera, good defense. So,
I think that's what the Bucs were missing. They didn't have the running game, so they had to air it out. And Jameis Winston was literally a flip of a coin. Heads, he throws a touchdown. Tails, he throws a pick six. And that's good if you're a horrible team because you'll take a flip of the coin if you're dreadful. But if you're trying to make your way to the playoffs, you need more than a 50-50 shot. So I don't know. It'll be interesting because maybe Taysom Hill. Dude, I have such a tough time saying his name because I think Jameis Winston – Jason Tatum and Taysom Hill, just kind of like these Asems and Jameses and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty tough. But if he goes down, at least you have a good third string quarterback.
No, absolutely. We're not in a bad spot in the quarterback room. That's for sure. Michelle Collector, thank you very much for joining. As Brad and I were saying, we don't have a lot of female viewers. So thank you very much for joining.
Well, welcome to the sausage party.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah. So she asks, has anyone brought up CSG? And I think what you're talking about is the grading company that CGC, that spinoff.
The comics?
Yeah.
Okay.
CGC is the comic, and then CSG is their sports card group. I believe that's what she's referring to. I have not seen anything from them yet. I've seen they have a little promo video. I think I saw online. I haven't seen anything on eBay from them yet, though. I don't know if they've gotten that far. Brad, have you seen anything from that? Do you know even what I'm talking about?
Honestly, I'm enamored with that snowman. That is a legit snowman right there. And living in Florida all my life and then California, I've never been able to even take advantage of snow and be able to do that. So I'm very impressed. As for CSG, no, not haven't heard anything. I've heard people pose the question, but I haven't heard it catching on or a lot of people really diving into it. So, for me, it's one of those things where when enough people give it social proof, then I'll start looking into it. But and until it's a bit more proven in terms of well-received and well-respected, I'm just going to wait for that point to then look into it further. But if you guys in the comments section have an opinion on it, let us know because I just don't have an opinion.
I like the look of the slabs, and I'm a believer in CGC as a company, the company that grades the comic books. So I'm a believer in that whole deal long term. But it's exactly what you said. How's the market going to respond to it? What's their turnaround time? What are the resale values going to be, et cetera, et cetera. Shout out to Ziggy No. If you have not been to his channel yet, if you're watching this and don't know Ziggy's channel, he does a daily report, goes through a lot of different content creators and what they're talking about. So check out Ziggy No Sports Cards Daily. YouTube channel, really, really good channel. And Ziggy is asking, what do you think about Burrow out with the ACL? And I didn't even see that Tua got to the bench. I didn't watch any football this afternoon, but Burrow going down is big. It's a big deal.
Well, I saw that he went down. It was carted off. I didn't see it actually happen live. And then what was weird with the Dolphins is that I saw when I was checking the ESPN app, it said that Fitzpatrick, was incomplete this or complete pass. And I'm like, why is he in? And then I looked at the stats and it looked like Tua wasn't having a good game, but I didn't see the actual Dolphins game. The first thing with Joe Burrow was it immediately resonated with the same thought process as Dak Prescott, where I go, young guy, lots of talent. You want to root for him. And I don't know if he's out. I think he's out for the rest of the year, the entire year. I can't wait to see you next season. Obviously, it's a shame, but I just don't know anything beyond that. To me, it's just damn it, that sucks. That really sucks. But what are your thoughts? Anything?
Yeah, he was having a really good. The Bengals are not having a good season so far, but
he was the highlight.
But he was having a very good rookie season. Yeah, and considering the fact, and it's frustrating probably for Bengals fans because their offensive line is atrocious, and that's a big reason why this happened in the first place. He just, pressure got to him. He was standing and throwing, and it just got him right on that planted leg. So And this is actually a really good point. Jeff Whitler, my LCS owner, was right. He said the price of Prism football would go down if Burrow got injured.
Ooh,
now,
well, that makes perfect sense.
But is that, and I'd like to hear from others as well. I mean, if you are seeing it go down, or do you think it will go down, et cetera, I might be more in the market to buy if it has a serious effect on it. I didn't even think of that, honestly.
Yeah.
Until I saw that comment.
And then also Tua being benched. I mean, if he has another bad week or isn't the starter next week, and then all of a sudden, was he overhyped? If Prism football was based off of these three quarterbacks being studs, and one is out, and obviously he has a lot of promise, but now he has that injury concern. Now, well, if you're injured once, maybe you can re-aggravate it again. Now, Tua, if you're not winning games like you were, if you're showing some flaws, then that's something. And then what's the third dude for the Chargers? My brain fart right now. Herbert, yeah. If like he's still looking good to me. Like I didn't see the whole game, the Chargers, but he was looking really good when I saw. But if you have only 1 to 1.5 quarterbacks that are really demanding that price, then it totally makes sense. Because I heard it was like $2,000 a box or something stupid. Did you hear that?
Yeah, for a hobby box or something. And I haven't been following it. But yeah, I did hear that it was like $2,000. Like,
I mean, well, the other thing too is going into NBA season to buy the box in December is at the peak of football hype. I mean, it's right there. It's Christmas. You're competing with everyone, shopping for Christmas, and then NBA starting. And then once NBA starts in December, well, you only have a month left or so of football. I would rather see where the prices would go in March, like when basketball's at its peak and football is still a long ways away. I would want to see what a box of NFL Prism goes for then, just because I don't want to compete with 1,000 other people that want the box desperately. I want to buy the box. If I wanted it, I'd buy it when no one's really thinking about it.
You know, this is going to be a really telling 6 months for sports cards. It's going to be, what does pricing look like for Prism football when really you've got Burrow out, you've got Tua that might be benched, who knows, maybe, and then Herbert's looking good. But you know, with Burrow going down, that's a really big deal because that's a big chase card. You know, I want those skin Prism Burrow cards, and I'm not even a Bengals fan, but I like Burrow. And I want to. I mean, look, I'm sure the snakeskin cards are going to be expensive. They're very limited. But my point is that we have this going on with Prism football, and then look at the basketball draft. You know, and granted, I know those are two different. Basketball is a lot more popular than football is, but you're coming off of 2 draft classes in basketball that have been crazy excitement. You know, all the excitement in the world, and now we're coming up on a draft class not as exciting. What's going to happen? And it's going to be great. I mean, I think it'll be good for the hobby. It'll be interesting to see kind of what happens with everything.
Well, in terms of the boxes going down, I think that makes a lot of sense just because people could break the box and sell the Burrow right away. As in they could roll that over and see that return right away. It's not like they would have to wait forever. But now if Tua or Herbert's the primary guy are going to be the most valuable card, and that's not going to demand nearly as much, then now how much are you going to pay if you want to break and get out as soon as possible? So that's a really good point, though. Really good point.
I will say, too, though, and right when he got injured, and I was joking, I put on Twitter, I was like, if I had a nickel for every post I've seen in the last 2 hours that says, you know, I'm ready to buy your cheap Joe Burrow cards. You know, it was literally like everybody on Facebook groups like buying Burrow, ready to buy Burrow. And it's like there's enough people out there that are just waiting for those prices to dip. I don't think his prices are going to move much. I mean, I think they'll be a little bit lower. I still think his Prism stuff is going to be expensive, and I think that his Mosaic stuff will be expensive too. I could be wrong. What do you guys think in the chat? Joe Burrow, do you think his prices are going to go way down? Do you think they're going to go down a little, or do you think they're not going to go down at all? I'd like to hear what you think.
Well, I'll say I would be really curious about the Mosaic Burrow because with Prism coming out, that's already going to bury Mosaic to a degree in terms of excitement, right? It's the new flashy object will be Prism, and that's the top dog anyway. So I can imagine Mosaic Burrows really just getting hammered, which is great because that could be a good opportunity to buy for next season because it's still a rookie card of a great player. It's just not the primary card once Prism's out, and obviously the player Joe Burrow is now injured for the year.
Yeah, is it definitely? What is it, like a torn ACL, MCL, or do we know what the prognosis is? I didn't.
Well, I see Jeffrey Whitler putting it could miss the 2021 season. I mean,
really?
It's that. I mean, that would be devastating.
Like a Bridgewater injury?
I don't know. I hope not. That would be horrible.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, typically, if it's an ACL, you're rehabbing, and he should be ready for next season, like beginning of next would be like about the time frame.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the thing is, look, Burrow's prices were through the roof, so I do see them going down, just not to the point where people have given up on him, just to the point where the hype is gone because he was on. He was looking.
Uh-oh. Brad, did I lose you? Can anybody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, because I think Brad is frozen, or he's frozen on my end.
It happened.
Was it on your end or my end?
No, I think it was my end.
Oh, thank God.
We get two of us in the same stream, and it's bound to happen that one of us gets kicked off our internet.
This is funny. John's here. He was on with me last time when this happened, so he knows all about this. All right. Can everyone hear? All right.
There you go.
All right. I think that we are good.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking here, and it looks like up to 12 months. I mean, obviously, it's if you have his cards, you just hold on for the ride, but he'll be back. But yeah, that sucks. So we'll see how bad the injury is. But regardless, it's going to go on sale because a lot of people.
Brad tore
pay. Yeah.
This is good. Ricardo, Brad tore a cord.
Tore a cord. Yeah. I'll be out for 12 minutes.
Brad's out for 12 months.
Yeah. Dude, so what have you been buying, or what are you targeting right now? Because it's a weird time. Football is going to be entering playoffs soon. Basketball is about a month away. Actually, it is a month away. Are you buying? Are you holding? Are you selling? What's your thought process?
Yeah, I did a kind of a mini mail day. Well, I shouldn't say mini because it's really all I bought. But I bought 6 or 7 Jamal Murray rookie cards graded. So I put some money into him. I didn't really have any of his stuff before, but he was a guy that I was targeting. And over the last couple of weeks, I was like, all right, if I don't get, I feel like if I don't get his stuff now that we're coming up on the season, it's a short off season. This stuff has the potential to go up. So I wanted to get on it now. So I got some of his optic stuff. I got a select courtside rookie card and a PSA 9. So trying to get some basketball before basketball kind of goes bonkers potentially.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're starting to see the rise already. I mean, I was looking at, obviously, Trae Young's prices went through the roof. I saw a couple Zions that started to climb as well. And, yeah, we got a month until tip-off. What I'm thinking, though, is, and I've said this for a while, I just think that people are scrambling for Thanksgiving. And once Thanksgiving is over with, you think Black Friday and just the mentality is buy stuff. Buy stuff for yourself. Buy stuff as gifts for others. That's like what it is for a month up until Christmas. And so what I'm anticipating is prices going up, especially you start to see what guys are like in I don't know about training camp or just all the articles, all the headlines are coming up. And then all the gifts that are going to be given, I think the card prices might stay high even a week or two into the season, just because people are getting gifts for Christmas, and Christmas is 3 days after the season begins. So if you're getting an eBay gift card on Christmas, then I could easily see up until New Year's the card prices going up and then it being stationary. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's kind of an odd. The way that it's timing up is kind of odd with the holidays. That will be really interesting. Are people going to be taking, what are those buying patterns going to be like? Are people going to be buying cards as gifts, or like, is more money going to go into the hobby because that's what people are buying? Or is it going to be less because they're buying stuff for their families or whatever? It's interesting. I'll tell you one thing. My kids are not getting any of my card money. So if anything, it's the other way around where it's like, Guys, it's going to be a really slow Christmas under the tree because I've got cards that I need. I don't want them. I need.
Yeah. Sorry, kids. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's like to buy a kid a box of basketball optic or football prism for like $2,000. That's ridiculous. I mean, even if it's $1,000, that's ridiculous. Like we're not in a state where kids can even afford cards, which is a shame because that's how we learn to appreciate the hobby. I was just reading a couple comments here. Still recovering from the donuts. That is true. I had 3 donuts and a chocolate muffin the other night. Felt like absolute shit yesterday. Yeah. It was like a horrible feeling. Like when you're hungover after, like you're 34, but you get hungover off of like 6 glasses of wine, and you just feel like hell the next day. But it was donuts instead. But Tua is not. He wasn't benched for performance. It was an injury, just a minor injury. So that's good right there.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Oh shoot, what was I going to say on that topic? Oh crap, I lost it.
Don't worry, it happens. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of stuff right here, dude. One thing I never considered investing in baseball because I don't follow baseball, but you know, when you have tools like Market Movers or Card Ladder, and you could at least look online as to what players perform the best, who's going to be hyped the most, what teams are expected to do the best next season, and knowing that even if they don't pan out, if people are still reading those articles in the next couple months, I might actually buy a couple baseball cards just to test it out, because even if I don't want to follow the season, I was seeing some really good discounts on baseball because basketball is getting so close. Those cards are up. Football, we're in the middle of this weird situation where if you're not going to be in the playoffs, it looks like those cards are going to drop, or they should drop really soon, even more so. And if you're going to be in the playoffs, they could probably maintain it. But baseball, just because if I can target, even if it's Mike Trout or some really easy guys, there were some extreme discounts I was seeing. And it's just something I'll at least consider. But are you into baseball at all?
I'm really not. I'm not. I respect kind of the vintage stuff, but it's just not a sport that I follow. I really like the older vintage cards. I like the classic stuff, but it's just there's so much more on the football and basketball side that I want. There's only so much money to go around, only so many resources. It's like I got to buy what I love, even if it's a great deal or whatever. The irony is the only packs that me and my kids are going to be opening over the holidays are Junk Wax era packs. So it's like if they open 89 Pro Set football, we can get those all day, guys. You want to open 92 Fleer Ultra basketball and try to find some shit? Let's do it.
Dude, see, I would open those box just for the nostalgic reasons, because that was mine. I remember, I think it was 89 hoops or 90 hoops with that arc. It was a 90, 91, the hoops basketball. It had kind of like an arc-shaped border. And I remember having like sets of those. And then Skybox had an early set as well. I think it had a gold border and kind of like a rainbow, like early 90s graphics. I don't know if you remember that set, but I had those.
I have a box upstairs of 91 Skybox basketball. I got it for like $20 because I was like, I wonder if this will be, worth something, or if I want to open it,
Oh, it's sealed, not a set, not a complete set.
Oh, I'm sorry, not a set, sealed packs.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And Junk Wax stuff is like 36 packs with like 15 cards in it.
Well, that was crazy because I remember as a kid, it was like 18 packs or 20 packs or something respectable. And now I'm looking and it's like 6 packs, 4 cards per pack. I'm like, that ain't shit. Like that
was one of the things I noticed when I got back in, and I was like, okay, cool, like new product. Let's see what's going on. Like, let's rip some packs. And then very quickly found out that that's not how this works.
Yeah, it's like it's gone up quicker than packs of cigarettes. It's just kind of like, dude, how crazy of a price is that? I remember going to Kmart as a kid and just seeing the whole area. It was always like in this little nook where it was just cards, and I'd go in there and it'd have all the sports, and the boxes were so light. I mean, like $20 for this box, 24 for this box, and it was nothing. But that was fun, man. That was fun because then you could actually afford to break, and it wouldn't break the bank, and you wouldn't get anything too valuable, but at least it was a lot of fun that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. How about you? Are you buying anything? I know you buy a lot on, you're doing a lot of ComC and a lot of, raw cards that you can kind of move quickly. You do it. I'm buying probably more graded stuff, and you're buying more of the raw stuff. But what are you doing? Are you in buy mode? Are you selling? What are you thinking right now?
For me, I'm more in. I like what I like a lot is just buying so far in advance that I can rotate this. So if I can invest in basketball, football, and then just get familiar enough with baseball to sell before the season starts, I kind of like that strategy because if it works, I'll stick to it. I'd rather just buy, like I was buying a lot of basketball in September and October, and because of that, I'm seeing the prices go up now. And if I can get 2x for the majority of it before the season starts, I'd be very tempted to do that and just try to repeat it. And then when a player goes down, like what intrigues me is when a player goes down or gets benched early in a season with enough time to come back. So if he had like a 6-week injury, that would have been something I would have jumped on. I remember even Drew Brees, when he started off really shaky, I thought he was a good investment because I knew at some point he would come back. And he did. He had some good games. And then obviously this injury is horrible. But for basketball, I'm holding right now just because the prices are climbing. So I don't want to buy any more while they climb. I would rather sell what I can at a profit and wait for the first wave of disappointments and injuries and then wade through there and say, okay, well, which guys do I expect to rebound or am I willing to take a chance on? Or I looked up market movers, what players have gone down the most, and top 12 out of 15 are Hall of Famers or vintage. So it's like Jordan and Shaq and Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki. So if I can see those guys go down more and more as the season approaches, I'm good just having that pattern. I'm good with just like following that pattern of, okay, this is the time I'll buy vintage. And then I will wait, and then off season or later in the season, sell vintage, buy these guys. And for me, it's exciting just to see the whole year and how that operates from sport to sport, because I'd rather just get that pattern and be able to duplicate it and then just adjust if it changes.
Now, on that note, do you have kind of, let's just use basketball as an example. Do you have like a dozen guys that you're kind of paying attention to? Or are you more reacting to like, oh, there's an injury here, or there, kind of like, how do I feel about that? How do I feel? Are you kind of going with that flow, or do you already have kind of, here's 8 guys that I'm ready to roll on if there's, flows kind of thing?
When I first got back in late February, early March, it was. I didn't even follow NBA. I'd gotten turned off. Pau Gasol flopped and flailed so much 10 years ago that I actually stopped watching basketball. I couldn't take it. And then I was watching football, and I was buying a lot of the guys I knew, Brady, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. And then I was buying a lot of Kobe and Shaq, because those are 2 guys I was like, all right, I could feel very good with them. And so at first it was just the guys I have in mind. I was looking up, okay, Damian Lillard was one guy. I looked up his stats. I liked how he played. There were certain things, but more importantly, it was just his prices were so much lower than Anthony Davis and other guys. And yeah, I know he's not on a championship caliber team, but I knew that for a fourth of the price, he was a good value. So I'd be buying that, knowing that at one point of time, he's going to have a streak or a moment. And then, of course, he had the biggest streak in August. I mean, he had like a ridiculous 3-game streak, and his card price is literally like I bought some of his hoops rookie cards for $3 and $4, and they sold for 40 to 50. That was probably my best ROI in terms of a percentage. And so for me, it's all. What's that?
That's awesome. That's wild.
Yeah, and so to me, it's almost just like, okay, the players I have my eyes on, if they're top dogs, if they're guys that are very popular, like Trae Young, Zion, Luka, the guys that if you're young, you want to collect. They're young, they're cool, they're flashy. I got to make sure that they're on a very steep discount, because I don't want to assume they won't get injured or have a down year or anything like that. But then when certain circumstances happen, then I'll do the analysis. So I'd say it's probably roughly 50-50 of what I'm doing now, because I'm getting better at saying, okay, if this happened, what is a price I'm willing to get in at? And like doing my own calculations of what are the odds that this guy will be back this season? If not, will it be valuable next season? Do I want to tie up my money in this, or you know what I mean? So even like I sold a couple Jared Stidham cards even though he's played like half a game and he hasn't looked very good, but it was just his cards dipped so low that one time he was put in the Patriots game, I sold a couple of his rookie cards right then and there for 3x return, like buy for 8, sell for 24, small stuff. But I might buy more of his cards just because I think the Patriots offense sucks. I think the wide receivers suck. So maybe he's just named the starting quarterback next week or the week after or the week after. Maybe he's just named it, and that means I got 3 days or 4 days to try and sell them all, because he might actually still suck, or the wide receivers actually suck, and it's not his fault as much. But just like that Jameis Winston, it was I've had this card from when he was a Buccaneer, and I knew that I didn't want to take a chance. And good thing I sold when I did, because he wasn't even named the starter.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, Stidham's an interesting prospect. There's just so many of those guys in the NFL right now. I saw, is Ryan Finley the quarterback for the Bengals now? Because I have some Finley cards that I need to sell then, because those are ones from last year. I bought Finley and Mason Rudolph. And if Finley is now the starter, I need to probably look at that.
Yeah, I don't know. But it looks like no matter what, the Bengals did you say the Bengals? Did you say
yeah, Finley's okay on the Bengals.
Yeah, because I don't know who the backup was either, but it looks like they've got to protect Burrow next year, as in they got to draft. They've got to draft offensive linemen. I was distracted by a couple of the comments here.
Which one?
All of them. They're great, though. Vegas Finds is on here as well.
Yeah, dude, what's up, Chris? How you doing, man?
What's up, man? You know what's funny? I was seeing PSA, I think it was PSA 9 silver Stidhams for $40, or either it was 40 or it was his PSA 10 base for 40. And I was like, I mean, if you want to throw money, if you want to take a gamble and you say, look, I have $200, $300, this is going to be my high risk, high reward. Like, you don't need him to be good. You just need him to be announced the starter 1 week for that spike to happen, because we've seen that happen with everyone. Like, it's literally Jameis Winston's cards went up before he was named starter. So
yeah,
we just need that moment. If we have that moment of time and we can take advantage of it, then like that could be the investment window right there.
Yeah, I kind of like your thought though with basketball, because and I remember like Dwight Howard was a guy that you had bought cards for like $1 and then you were able to turn them around. You know, and it's like if you just buy guys like that are kind of ancillary players on a good team, and you know they're playing with LeBron or they're playing with whoever, and you're buying them for $1, there's not really a whole lot of downside. You know, as you've talked about, is that kind of your, is that how you build cities kind of with that way? Just kind of do that with the ancillary guys.
Well, Dustin, if you saw my latest video that I just posted about an hour ago, to me it's always it's never about the player, it's never about the card, it's always how much am I putting in? And like the Dwight Howards, it was $3 or $4 for his Topps Chrome, and I sold a handful of those. I sold a few more on eBay for $59. I paid $3 a piece. So I can, you can make more money on players like that just if you're buying low enough. But I think the problem is that a lot of people will buy because they want the card, and so they're not comparing and contrasting. They're not saying, well, what is the best use of this $50? What's the best use of this $100? Instead, it's this player should do good. I will buy it. Yeah, but it's 5 times the price as what it was a month ago. And you have to understand that it's all about value. It's always about like, how far can this $50 go? What is the best use of it? And at least playing that game. Dwight Howard, that was the thought process. All right, you're on the Lakers. You will probably be a Hall of Famer because the stats said it online on these different websites. He had a great start to his career. He had some great years in Orlando. Yeah. And you know what? Worst case scenario is $3 a card that goes to waste. And so for me, that was an easy pull of the trigger. But then other guys that aren't proven, I'm just too nervous about, especially like a guy like Zion, where you can have all the talent in the world, but if you get injured early in the year again, okay, now what?
Yeah. Are you finding those deals harder to find now? Meaning like when you started in February, March, compared to like today, are there more people out there that are saying the same, thinking the same thing? Is it harder to find these deals?
Actually, I don't think so, because when I started, the prices were a lot lower because the whole market was a lot lower. However, percentage-wise, I think the same thing. In September and October, I was like, is this right? I'm seeing cards that literally on ComC would say this card sold for $85 at its peak August 12th, and the card was $26. And again, if you see that the video, the process, like my mental process is, all right, $26 is what I could pay for it right now. It had peaked at 86. Let's say $86, for example, will never happen ever again. But could the $26 go up to 40 or 38? Is that a number that is reasonable if this player does well? Even if that all-time high is just a fluke and it'll never happen again. And if I'm good with that, I'll pull the trigger. But I'm finding deals in basketball over the last couple months, just not right now. Now I'm starting to see the prices go up, which makes me interested in baseball, because baseball is going to happen sooner than next football season. And hockey, like I'm just a Lightning fan. I don't really follow other teams. So if it's not investing in my own team, I just don't really care so much.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Let's move over to another topic, something that we don't really talk about. I don't think we talked about it before. Last time I don't think we covered it. But as far as sports card content creation goes, when you're coming up with a video, I wanted to ask you kind of what is your thought process as far as the topic, as far as how you're going to deliver it. I know like the hair has to be perfectly right.
Well, the perm is the first thing. I mean, I got to get the perm done.
You got to get the salon at 6 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I just came from the salon, so that's why I have my robe. They did my hair, got my nails done. Look, I live here in LA. That's what we do here. Don't judge. Here we do things a bit differently. We take care of our looks. We take some psychedelic drugs. I take some mushrooms. I trip on acid for a bit, and then the ideas just come to me. So I'm filled with this inspiration. But okay, what was the specific question?
Yeah, how do you come up with kind of your the topics that you're going to talk about, or just do you do it do you plan them way out in advance, or is it something like you're just thinking about it and you're like, okay,
dude,
how does it go?
It's far out in advance, man. Like, okay, so one thing I do is on other YouTube stations, like the bigger ones, especially PSA Collector and Sports Card Investor, I'll look at their most popular videos to see what has gotten the most views, what is most popular, and I'll see if I want to do a video there. And a lot of times it's you guys in the community. I got so many comments that was, how do I start an LLC, or can you do a video about how to not pay tax on eBay? And I got 4 or 5 of those comments to the point where it just stuck in my head, and I said, all right, I gotta show this, at least here in California, how I was able to do it. So that was another thing. But dude, these videos take forever. Like the ones I do, I have like very little skills when it comes to editing and all this. So, I mean, we're talking 16 to 20 hours per video, and a lot of times
15 to 20 hours of video. That's yeah. So here's what I do, and this is probably why your stuff gets a lot more views than mine, because I don't do a whole lot of planning, and it's usually kind of just put it together quickly. I don't get a perm typically, at least not every day like Brad does.
Well, dude, that's the problem, man. Half the viewership is right here. If someone ever shaved my head, I'd be screwed.
Oh man, it's funny. Yeah, no, I don't put as much. I shouldn't say effort, because I put effort and thought into it. But as far as the production value, that's something that I could probably improve on. Let us know in the comments too, or in the chat, if there are certain videos that you want to see that you do not see out there. I would like to, hear about it, and I think Brad would too. I think
and I'd like to steal the idea and execute on it before Dustin, so it'd look like he's plagiarizing off of me.
Yeah, make sure you send it directly to me, not to Brad.
Well, here's a question from Luke. I thought this was interesting. Is YouTube profitable for small YouTubers? And I'm okay saying that it'll say the last 28 days what you've made, and it's from Google AdSense, as well as like that's pretty much Google AdSense. But then there's other opportunities that come from building a station, and the last 28 days is somewhere around $400 to $440 or so. So I mean, this could be a great part-time gig if you are a student, or if you have time, or if you're into this. But dude, I think it's awesome. Yes, and shrooms are great. Except if you're under 18 and don't believe in it, then ignore everything I say.
Is YouTube profitable for small YouTubers? So if you're looking at it from an hourly, like how many hours you're putting into it, you're losing money as a small YouTuber. I think that a lot of it is you're kind of putting in that upfront, sweat equity into it, and then over the long haul, maybe something comes out of that. But the other part is that you obviously, if you're going to do it a lot, you're going to have to enjoy it to do it.
Yeah.
So for me, this is kind of a hobby within the hobby, and so it's fun to talk community, build a community around something I'm already doing and enjoying.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. I mean, hourly, it's atrocious at first, but that's why the other opportunity. Look, Dustin is sponsored by StreamYard. He must make a lot to have that logo up there. So if you guys see that StreamYard logo, I think what's that, like a 500K sponsorship right there?
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, it took a while to negotiate that out, but yeah. StreamYard is paying all the bills. The whole family's quit their jobs. My like everyone has quit. Everyone has quit. We're just all like just living off StreamYard sponsorships.
I love these comments here too. Someone here said they're 13 that wanted to start a YouTube station. Luke, yeah, man, start it and then just look at how to do it, like research on how to do it rather than just put up whatever, because you need topics that people care about. And it is like, it is a lot of work. It's a ton of work. You can ask Vegas Fine 777, who's on here as well. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. And because look, we can have a chat with all you guys on here. And I feel like it's a group of us because we're a community. So this is fun. Like this is the easy part. This is the great part. Flipping Steve just spends the time on the intros.
I don't even think anyone watches the rest of the video. I typically shut it off there, Steve. Well, actually, first I hit dislike, and then I move on to the next video.
Well, that way that Flipping Steve gets some engagement, so that helps. So that other people can find his video and dislike it as well.
There's a joke because Brad texted me. Brad,
I didn't hear you there.
Something happened with the speaker. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. It got weird for a second, but yeah, Brad had a video where he had 40 dislikes, and
it's like 100 now.
I had to break it to him that I have 100 different accounts I've been logging in and out of to hit that dislike button. So
sorry, dude, that's where all the time goes for Dustin. That's why he's so busy. But it's funny because when I go live with Dustin on my station, those are the only videos that don't have a single dislike. So there's got to be someone. Either it's you, Dustin, which that just makes sense. That's just problem solving. Or if there's someone else here in your community that like hates me but really likes you. So when you're on my station, they just don't do anything. They don't like, but they don't dislike either. So that's what I got right there.
I feel like something is wrong if I've got 42 likes and no dislikes. Something's a little off.
Well, let me know. I'll head on over. I'll change mine if you'd like. I see Full Game Highlights asked if I'm going to break even on the PSA submission. And that's something that I wanted to I was actually talking to you about, Dustin, before we went on. I can't believe how many people have messaged me on eBay and have put in offers and bought my cards, because I've sold like 40 or 50, I think 40, very quickly and at a profit. So it looks like I'll not only break even, I might make a profit, in which case I'm thinking of what I want to do with it, because it's like a Hallmark movie. It's like the dog runs away from the old man, and then 10 years later they embrace. It's that same kind of feeling. The fact that I'm getting all these messages on eBay and people buying these cards at what I would imagine is higher than market value, or what I thought was higher than market value. So I don't know if it's goodwill or it's just belief that it'll continue to go up closer to Hall of Fame enshrinement and documentary and whatnot. But I'm floored. I'm really flattered. So I appreciate that question, and anyone out there that has just put in an offer or just checked it out, or just supported me either way, because it was a huge mistake. I take ownership for it. But the fact that you guys are like helping me, or at least supporting me, it means a lot.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. It feels like it, man. It feels like one of those Christmas miracles.
I want you to make a really, really cheesy, and I know that it's meant to be sincere, obviously, but you have got to make a real spectacular video about that. I want,
okay. I will, man. I will. I'm actually inspired to. I don't know if I should do like fake crying or like actually get the waterworks going.
You like
definitely
dump water on your head, like too many tears. Whoops.
I've been practicing my crying a lot lately, so I'll figure something out. But seriously though, it's been amazing. So I appreciate you guys. And then there was a question here too. Someone asked about percentage changes. Like I think it was under the video idea. The percentage changes of parallels versus base on cards is in what's a better investment. And that would take some good research, some good analytics on the different data tools. But I think that's a good one as well. Do you have any thoughts or have you noticed anything with better values or better appreciation on the different parallels?
I haven't looked at it as much, but I do know that that's a popular way for people to kind of look at pricing and look for value is comparing it to the base. That seems to be always kind of, if they're looking at like a optic pink or a purple or whatever, they're looking at a color, they're going to look at the base and, try to kind of draw comparisons. You know what I did? And I was talking about it in my last video. Another way that I draw comparisons. Oh my God.
I love these comments. Sorry.
I know every time you laugh, I'm like looking back at the chat, like, what am I missing? But what I do like with newer players, like over the last 5 years, that rookie class is I look at, and I know LeBron can be someone I look to as kind of like the ceiling, for prices, but like the Luka card market as well. I think that is a really good, like when I'm looking at Jamal Murray rookie cards, I know that Jamal was a rookie in 16, whereas Luka was a rookie in 18. But still, I'm able to draw a comparison as like, okay, what's the Optic Hollow PSA 9 for Luka? What is it for Jamal Murray? Is there value there? And then the other part of it is, I believe, I don't know if I'm right, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right, that 2016 basketball was printed less than 2018 and 19 basketball as far as those sets go. So like Jamal Murray rookie cards are going to be less, they're going to be more scarce. Essentially.
Right. I mean, that's the issue I have with a lot of newer cards is, the print runs are just higher, right? We know every year it's just gone up and up and up. And if you're Panini and Topps and whoever else, and you see the sales and the demand going up, obviously you want to print more. But then it comes down to, okay, so if Zion or let's say Luka gets injured next year, God forbid, I really hope he doesn't because he's really exciting to watch as well. But if they go down for the whole year,
I would cry real tears at that point.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the scary part about it too, is that now you have a lot more of those cards available. And Zion scares me more than Luka, just because Luka has shown more than Zion to this point. But that's why I also kind of like the 12-13 class a lot, because they're so established that they're not exciting, but you also know that the vast majority of those Prism rookies have gone through the grading services. They've come back. If they're 9s, they're 9s. If they're 10s, they're 10s. If they're not, they're not. But I always wonder, should I buy a graded any card from the last few years, knowing that there's got to be like twice the number out there on in PSA, especially if it's a lower end card. If it's like a 1 of 25 Luka, obviously you expedite that, you probably get that back sooner. But it's just something where it's so messy. I just don't know how to interpret those guys that that they're so recent that I just don't know what to think. Like, it's just too messy.
I've thought about that too. I talk about a lot on my channel as well, is what are those pop reports going to look like in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? And that's a big hesitation for me when buying base. That's why I try to buy like Optic Hollow at PSA 9, even if it's 9, because the 10s are expensive for a lot of guys, but the 9s are more affordable. But a lot of times, like the pop on that Jamal Murray rookie card, Optic Hollow PSA 9 that I bought, it's like 40. There's 40 PSA 9s and there's like 35 PSA 10s or something. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, even if there's 200 of them, at least, there's not 10,000 of them, to where
for sure. And I think that's it. And then when it comes down to like, okay, Jamal Murray or one of those guys, I think to myself, okay, you have skill, but will you ever have the brand power as Luka, right? The fact that he's a phenomenon and everyone loves him and he's international and all that and plays for Dallas, and Dallas is a pretty cool team. And so then I also think like, okay,
let me cut you off for a second. We have 92 viewers right now. I have never broken 100 on a live stream. So literally everybody, call your family, get them logged in to YouTube. We have to break 100.
Go to a different tab, log on with an alternate Google account, hop on here, overload your Wi-Fi, crash your system. We'd really appreciate it. Well, it's funny. Someone put, I think it was Kevin. He put like, I saw a picture of Zion. It looks like he lost 5 pounds, and then he corrected to 50. But I was like, all that time, and he only lost 5 pounds, and now we have Thanksgiving coming up in a few days. Like, dude, you're just gonna go back to where you were. But of course, that was all. That was part of it. Is like I knew that Zion. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. Like Zion, he was overweight. He had injury issues, and I knew that. You know, with that kind of money and that kind of interest in a player or investment in a player for a team, it's obviously going to be, all right, you've never gone through conditioning the way that NBA players that are getting paid millions and millions of dollars have gone through, and we expect that to happen. So, of course, anything that he needs, anything that they could do, they'll do it. And, of course, I bet they're going to have this huge headline on ESPN in a few weeks. Look how good Zion looks. He's shed 20 pounds, 25. He is hitting this new jump shot. He is looking faster in practice. And then the prices skyrocket. Like, I like the fact that he's injured and overweight with potential, because that means that you just fix a couple easy things and you have a good system. It's kind of like buying a house that has, like a lot of potential, but horrible paint job, needs windows replaced. The lawn is ugly, but everything is there. And those are easy fixes. I think like losing weight as a professional athlete is an easy fix. The injury thing is serious, but if you can sell before he injures himself, hopefully he doesn't, but that could be a great opportunity right there.
I kind of wonder too. I mean, a lot of the young guys early in their career have had injuries. I mean, if you look at, Michael Jordan broke his foot. Steph Curry had like glass ankles first couple of years in the league. He ended up winning, a bunch of championships. I mean, I guess it's just, is this going to, and there's so much attention on Zion. There's so much of everyone's just zeroed in on every last hamburger he's eating, or whatever, like every pound, and it's like, he might be fine. He might be totally fine. I mean, obviously, his injuries are concerning, and I'm not buying lots of Zion cards, but it wouldn't shock me at all if he had an all-star season next year and played lights out. Wouldn't surprise me that much.
See, Zion was one of the first guys I targeted back in September because I knew he was higher risk. So I wanted to make sure that if I'm going in on Zion, I'm going in at the lowest prices I could find. But other guys that like Lillard and Anthony Davis, I was buying a lot of their second-year Prism cards, which is actually just second-year cards, because they had spiked really high at some point, like August-ish, like up to, I think Anthony Davis was something around $80 or $90 for a second-year card in Prism, and I was buying them for about $18 to $20. But it's also, I don't feel like they're going to go down. So a lot of my mindset is, what are the chances that this card is going to go down from what I'm paying for it? And if at worst-case scenario, I can break even, like I can get out at cost, but then I could also have a good chance of doubling my money, I'd rather have that in a lot of cases than high risk, high reward, at least for the majority of my money. And there was one card I must mention. I bought a few, and I think it's a good idea. It's an interesting idea. A few 2012, 2013 select Damian Lillard PSA 8s. And here's the reason. The PSA 8s were actually less than the raw price. So the PSA 8s of Lillard, his rookie card, were about $35 a piece, and no one would target them. So and raw was going for about $55 to $60. So when I look at the 8s that I have here, all I need to do is crack them, and I believe I'll get close to the raw price. Not the ones that are like mint, could grade a 10, but all the raw ones that I saw that were off center. They looked like they were in really good shape, but not immaculate condition. And if I can crack the 8s, because no one's targeting 8s at all, just to sell at raw, that's another upside. So I haven't been able to buy those Lillard rookie cards for less than that price raw, even on Comp C, because they're about $60 on Comp C. But if I can get them for 35, crack them, and now I have at least a raw card to sell, then I just got another $15, $20 right there.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. PSA 8s kind of remind me of what PSA 9s were a year ago. I remember a year ago people saying, oh, a PSA 9 is just the raw price, and then you add $15, $20 for the grade. And I'm like, what? Like, that can't be right. And then all of a sudden,
Well, no, go on. I'm like, that's the exact same thing I'm seeing with the Kobe cards I'm selling, which is an amazing surprise. But finish that statement because it's crazy. I'm seeing the same thing.
I do think it will, especially with grading becoming more expensive. I'm not saying that every graded card is automatically worth $50 now. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think that, there should be more emphasis put on those 8s, especially because, and I think that a lot of people too, they get back that 8 and they wanted a 9 or a 10, and they're practically giving those things away because they just want capital to then put back into the market.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get rid of them.
Yeah, just try it again. And well, that's the interesting thing. Like those Lillards, I know that they're not going to be 10s. Maybe there's a chance that they could be 9s if it's the right service or the right day or the right grader or whatever, but more than likely they're 8s. And the thing is, it's weird that those are selling way less. Those are selling way less than raw, at least percentage wise. Yet the 8s that I had listed on the Kobe's were selling for $25 because that's also the price I put. I said, like, I'll lose $10 per card, but at least you get it in a slab because some people just want it in a slab. And that's why some of the 7s and 8s I'll keep for myself just because I like having it in a slab. It looks better that way. And only when I go up really close can I tell what number it is. But it's weird that some people would pay less for a card when it's an 8 and others like this is like, these are $4, $6 raw cards that they're paying $25 for, even though it's an 8. So they're paying way more for that, while others are paying, like myself, paying a lot less for the Lillard.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting, kind of those trends that are going on in the hobby. It's fun to watch. I'm trying to get back up to one of flip it, Steve. I'm sitting here with a handful of Andre the Giant cards. Steve, so here's the deal. Steve is literally going to be a zillionaire because he's got all these really rare Zags that he's been going after, and eventually he's going to sell them all and be living out of
The audio kind of messed up right there, but I think we got the gist of it. Flipping Steve, do you know who Shepard I think his name is Shepard Fairley. He's the artist that does the Obey clothing line. Do you know who that is, Dustin? Obey?
No.
It's really, really cool artwork, but the logo of Obey is actually the Andre the Giant's face. I don't know if you've seen that.
Interesting.
Hold on a sec. I kind of want to share it. Obey logo. You guys have probably seen it. He does like a lot of like propaganda art. Let me see here. Can I share the screen? Am I allowed?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, let's take a look here. Oh, I can't add it to stream. You have to add it, I think.
Oh, okay.
You know how to work it? Okay.
All right, we did it.
So take a look. If you guys have seen this, Shepard.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All these posters, really cool artwork. But this is Andre the Giant's face, and I forgot the story behind it. But hey, maybe there's some extra value in that. Well, I didn't want to go into that, but anyway, you guys get the point.
All right, I think I got rid of it.
You're like, how quickly can I get rid of this?
How do I pull Brad off of the screen? Do you think we will see a mid-season dip because people get their PSA submissions back from the summer? Are you talking about dip in price because the supply goes up? Full game highlights?
That would make sense. Yeah. Well, my question is, I don't know how many submissions were given month to month for PSA. Like, I don't know those numbers. I don't know if that's something public where it says this month we've gotten 100,000 cards. Next month we got 200,000. If they release that would be very interesting because if it's on the bulk service or the economy service and you go, okay, hold on a second. July was 300,000 cards, add 6 months. That would be pretty intriguing. I think mid-season drops just because, like in football, we're seeing a lot of players from the beginning drop, except for those that weren't discovered, like the Justin Herberts and Taysom Hill and whatnot. But just the guys that no one would have ever expected go up. But what we saw last time was everyone's prices were so inflated that it pretty much it has to go down. And even Patrick Mahomes' prices went down, even though it looks like there's a good chance he'll win the Super Bowl again.
Yeah. I guess that's the question. Is there always a lull anyway? Even given the amount of cards that are at PSA, I think that there typically is a mid-season kind of a lull where, pricing maybe, I don't know if it sinks, but at least stays flat where there's not as much excitement. Then when playoff time comes, then you do get another little bump or whatever.
Yeah, I would imagine like before the season starts, hype is the highest because anything can happen. And then you have a lot of disappointments and only a fraction of players actually playing up to their card prices. At least this is what we saw in August based on it. And then I think that second wave is 2 weeks, 3 weeks before playoffs where people are saying, okay, screw these guys for the regular season. I hold or I sell off. But now who am I going after for the playoffs? And mid-season does make sense where it's not too deep in, like it's not 3/4 or 4/5 of the season. So people aren't thinking about playoffs yet. But I could definitely see even after the first month of the season, I could see a lot of dips just because the hype is worn off. And if the prices were that high, then they probably have to go down except for that rare player.
Yeah, no, I hear you. All right, folks, we have hit the 1 hour mark. I already have to pee, believe it or not. But let's go ahead. If you have any other questions in the chat, let us know. But we are going to start kind of wrapping things up a little bit. We did hit 100. I'm looking at 100 people are watching. That is a first for my channel. So thanks very much, guys, for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and as for, I see a comment here. I mean, look, I can put card was prior in a PSA. I mean, I just think that cracking the card and selling as is, for some people is worth more than selling an 8. Just because I think a lot of people they'll dismiss an 8 versus raw. So I mean, I probably bought cards that are priorly graded. It's just a matter of if I look at the picture and I like it, I buy it. If I don't like the picture, I don't buy it. That's my take at least.
Yeah. Oh, I missed this. Tatum just signed a $195 million extension. I did not see that. His base prism just sold for $710, going back up. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I kind of figured that he was going to stay with the Celtics. I just didn't, for some reason, I didn't realize he was up for a new contract yet, but I guess he is, or maybe it was early or whatever, but that's pretty cool for Celtics fans. I know Flipping Steve is happy about that as a Celtics fan. Sure, he's not happy about it. How do you feel, Steve? How do you feel about Gordon Hayward leaving for the Hornets? Probably doesn't mind too much. No, actually, I think he does. He probably would mind, but I just don't think they were going to pay him that kind of money. He got some serious money.
Any surprise moves in the NBA that you're really mulling over?
The one thing that really kind of, and maybe this is something that other people can shed light on too, but the Lakers signed Montrezl Harrell, I believe.
Oh, dude! And who else did they get? They got someone. They're going to get Marc Gasol.
Oh, are they?
It looks like it. Yeah.
I mean, Harrell was the 6th man of the year. He was really good for the Clippers. So I'm just looking at that Lakers team, like, man, they're just going to be like.
How do you get better? Like,
and they did, or it looked to me like they did.
On paper, it looks like they got better just based on. But you go like, all right, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, you can't afford more guys. And the fact that it looks like they've gotten better on paper, I mean, that's pretty incredible. And I wonder how that will help them get, because I don't expect the Lakers to be great from the start, because now you have new players and you're also exhausted from this ridiculous run. And then, you got to be in shape and start practicing now. That's a very short window of rest. But for playoff time next year, it looks like they'll be right in the finals, or at least close to it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to assume the Lakers are favored to win next year as well. I do feel like, though, LeBron, I mean, he's so incredible, but I do think that next year, or this coming season, will be his last elite season. I'm not saying he's not going to be good after this coming season, but I think that's what we're going to see kind of the scale down a little bit.
You have to at some point, yeah. You have any thoughts on LaMelo Ball?
I don't know. I really don't. Honestly, all the Ball brothers, I'm just not that high on. I don't know.
Ball, too many.
Maybe it's the dad that throws me off. I can't get into it. I don't know. I just feel like they're destined to fail based on the way that their dad operates. And maybe that's not looking at it right, but I'm not buying any of their cards.
Yeah, for me, I've heard of their names through the media, but I haven't watched college. I don't watch high school, and honestly, rookies just don't excite me. Like what intrigues me the most are the guys that should have done well that haven't, and then the prices are really low, and then I can go in and go, all right, which guys here do I think could rebound? Like no pun intended, but who here has really low cards that could actually see some momentum because no one's thinking about them, but like rookies, I just don't like the idea that they're getting more respect than they deserve as of yet. But when someone's been in the league 3 years and they're on the cusp of becoming great, that excites me a lot more. And that's how it worked with when I got the Chris Godwin cards months ago before Tom Brady was signed. And then, of course, he was signed and I got more of them. But I knew it was like, okay, you're right below the surface. You're a very good player, but not too many people know of you. And if you're on a playoff caliber team, that's even better. That's just the way I look at it. Rookies, I want other people to look at rookies because I want that attention to go there so I can pay attention to the guys that are forgotten about.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand how it's fun to prospect for rookies because if you're, it's fun to be right on those guys. If you really like study a player, you like them coming out of college, you buy some of their stuff. I understand why people do that. It's just, but I agree with you. It's not for me necessarily. I'm more into the like 3 to 5 years. Kind of they've shown us a little bit. They've shown us something. I am not happy about the Mavs losing Seth Curry. Not happy at all. Seth Curry was a monster for the Mavs. He was so underrated for the Mavs last year, and I don't know. I don't feel great about it. Honestly, the Mavs with how deep the West is. I mean, Porzingis is going to need to come back fully healthy. He's going to need to be playing, at full strength all year for the Mavs to really kind of have a chance, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, either way, I feel like it's going to be – I'm excited for the year. I'm excited for Christmas Day games. I think that's when we're going to see a lot of movement in card prices and just a lot of people watching games, using those gift cards Christmas Day, buying up a lot of stuff. Maybe even I'd be curious to see what game is being played on Christmas because in terms of a very tight little window of opportunity, I could see like an afternoon Christmas game where people have their gift cards and they're watching the game with their family. Maybe they've opened boxes, maybe not, but either way, they get their gift cards and they're watching, automatically tuning into eBay. This is the player. They just scored 40 points in prime time on Christmas, and then those cards going up. So I think that's something I'll look into just to see if there's any opportunity there. But yeah, for now, I'm all done on basketball. Baseball just interests me because if I can go into 3 sports out of the 4, then I just cover more of the year.
Yeah. So you're going more now. Is that new for you, the baseball card stuff, or have you been doing baseball?
No, purely new, but it would just be based on what articles am I reading of where is the hype going to be in March, right? When the season's about to begin, and I know that the anchors on ESPN and on Fox Sports and Bleacher Report are going to be talking about these are the players to watch, these are the teams to watch, this is who they predict, this is what the Vegas odds are. I know that a lot of other people will be investing based on that. So if I can buy those cards now, I might be able to sell those cards before the season begins. And then there's guys like, obviously Mike Trout, where it's a safe bet long term. But if his cards are on clearance, I'd rather have his cards on clearance than anyone else's. So, but to me, if that's just an easy way of getting in and making a profit, then I might as well give it a shot.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think I just don't know enough about baseball. I know I could follow kind of the trends that you had talked about with market movers, with Card Ladder. I don't necessarily have to know baseball. I can just kind of follow the data and figure it out from there. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'd have to go to some of my hobby baseball friends to really kind of, before I jump in, I would definitely kind of listen to what they have to say and get more acclimated.
See, I like the idea of both because it's like I need to know the players and the chances that they're going to do good. I need to at least be like, all right, it looks like on paper they'll be a good team. It looks like on paper all these things, and then compare that to where their prices are. So if they're projected to have a great year on a great team that should make a playoff run and the prices are at their all-time low, then that's checking a lot of boxes, in which case then I'll say, okay, Everything looks good. There's nothing else I could really do. I can watch highlights. But the point is, if these cards had peaked 4 months ago at the height of baseball or any other sport, if people like these players and everything is lining up and the prices are low, I might as well look there, because that's the same thing that worked with Braden Point. That's the same thing works with football cards. It's the combination of the player, the card, but also at the price you're paying. And yes, Shelly, I am looking into baseball, but don't get too excited.
Low Roller Scratcher, you guys into any Pokemon cards? I haven't really been buying them.
Those are my only Pokemon cards, right? Wait.
Yeah, Brad has from his childhood. And actually, so I have a little brother that is about Brad's age, 32, 33 roughly. And he had Pokemon cards, and I have his Pokemon cards. If he's watching, he's probably going to be calling me like, hey, send me my Pokemon cards. So I have some from his childhood, I guess, but I'm not really getting in and buying any of that stuff. But it's just partly because I was never into it. I don't have that nostalgia piece. I don't have, I'm not following it, so I can't know what's good and what's not. And I already feel like I have enough work to do in the basketball, football, sports side of things to where Pokemon's just a whole other learning curve that I'm just not ready for yet, I don't think.
There's a guy on YouTube, PokeRev, and I've seen his station, and he just tears tons of Pokemon cards. I think that, which is super fun and cool. My question is just where is the strategy? As in when the hype and the novelty wears off and it's not a thing anymore, how do you actually invest based on upcoming performance? Because all I could think of is an upcoming movie where one Pokemon is featured more than people anticipated, right? Like, oh man, we got like Geodude with like 6 minutes of airtime in this movie. Well, okay, so now Geodude's cards or I remember some of these guys. That's all I could think of. And so if there's not a way to strategize, then I'm just nervous that I'm just like buying in and selling, and I'm just becoming more of that philosophy of over the summer where it's just I buy and then I sell and I make money and I buy something else really high and I hope to sell higher, and then at some point you fall off the cliff. So to me it just doesn't make sense. Like I don't know how to actually make sense of it.
Yeah, and I was talking to Brad before we went on. My video tomorrow is about Garbage Pail Kids cards, kind of like how it all started and how far it's come. And it was a suggestion from a few of my viewers because I'm going to do more videos on 80s, 90s collectibles, pop culture collectible stuff. It's kind of the same story there, where it's like, if you collected those as a kid, then you remember those, and those are maybe you do want to have kind of the more rare stuff, from the 80s. So I understand that piece, but it's like what you said, like what's the off season for Garbage Pail Kids? It's tricky.
Well, I saw a couple comments here that were similar about, for one, Corey, that sounds like a lot of work, taking the YouTube videos and making it a podcast. I know it'd be great for branding and reach and all that, but I just don't know how to do it. And, so I don't know if you plan on doing that, Dustin, making a podcast out of this.
I do have a podcast through Anchor.
But
here's what happened though is, so I manually had to I just recorded the sound and then I uploaded it to a podcast, but I would sit there for 10 minutes on the video. And then sometimes it would fail to upload. I'm like, oh God.
Screw it.
I have 300 plus videos. So it's like, I just don't have time to keep up with all the different mediums. I probably need a team or whatever to do all that. And it's just not happening.
Yeah. My 6-person team is already busy going through all my PSA 7s and 8s, and it keeps them busy for a long time. So I don't have the manpower to worry about podcasts. There was something here, UFC cards. I don't watch UFC closely. I think that's a great idea though, because it's huge, it's global, a lot of international fighters. It's huge, and guys do have pretty long careers. I just think that one loss is pretty devastating for most fighters. So yeah, that's the one thing. It's not like you get to play again the next night. It's pretty much you lose one fight, you're out for 8 months, and then you lose another fight and you're out for 2 years, and you're like starting 3 rungs down. But for those all-time greats, it makes sense. And then WWF. I see all these cards. But yeah, TV show. Someone asked about TV show cards. I was buying cards, Full House, Family Matters, Home Improvement, The Simpsons, and that was more just for myself because I love those shows, and they were like couple dollars each. But The Simpsons was a big one. The Simpsons, I thought, has the same type of branding power as Pokemon. And I'd say Pokemon's bigger, but Simpsons has been around for decades, like 2 generations. And in a lot of other countries, it's been translated. So if there is a TV show that has that ability, I think it'd be The Simpsons, because also the characters, since it's a cartoon, it could never die if it doesn't want to, right? If they want to discontinue it, they can, but it's not dependent on certain people's lives. And I think even the voiceovers, they can get other people that can be close.
I was going to say, they do have that one lady that does like 7 different characters.
Including Bart. Yeah, that kind of freaked me out when it was found out that she does Bart Simpson's voice, and it's a lady. I was like, ah.
Yeah. I hope that she makes some serious bank.
JJ, PSA 9 Bob Saget. Hell yeah, man.
That's kind of what's fun about speculating on this stuff, is you never really know what's going to catch fire and what people are going to be into. So you could be right, you could be wrong, but no one can tell you that it's going to be wrong, because you just never know.
Well, I think a good question could be, if Pokemon is so big, what is a brand or what is a industry that a good percentage of kids or adults that are interested in Pokemon also watch? Because if you have that marketing data, if you have 46% of everyone that loves Pokemon also loves X, this one other thing, that would be a great start as to what could be next. I think that'd be a good way to approach it. I just don't know what that would be, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah, Pam Anderson rookie for sure. Yeah, but Dragon Ball Z, you got, what's the other one? The card game. The Dungeons and Dragons type of thing. Magic Gathering.
Yeah.
Dude, I would say Marvel cards is a big one, because that brand is huge, and because the movies can be pumped out. The movies come in, and the thing with Marvel is that I don't know if I told you this, but I remember hearing this, and it makes a lot of sense, is that there's so many bootleg copies of these movies that Marvel, all the superhero movies, make the majority of their income or their revenue from the toys, from the masks, from the video games, from licensing, all that. So the movie is more just the hype of the video game and the costumes and all that stuff. So I think that's a really interesting one.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, the movies are just a branding play, really, to sell all the merchandise and all the stuff.
Yeah. I definitely want that Pam Anderson Donruss Elite card. Yeah.
I'm more of a Topps Chrome Pam Anderson rookie. Anyway, but
there are. I saw there is a Carmen Electra Topps Chrome. I think it was Topps Chrome or Bowman Chrome, but you could look it up. Carmen Electra, and I think what was that girl from the Transformer movies? Megan Fox. I think there might have been a Megan Fox one as well.
I'll be honest. I favor Carmen Electra over the others. Over Pam and Megan.
Well, Carmen. See, that could be a good investment, because remember, Carmen was with Dennis Rodman. So if Dennis Rodman has another
Dennis Rodman rookie cards with the Carmen rookie cards,
yeah, that's it.
No, man, it's crazy. It's fun. All right, we're going to wrap up here in a couple of minutes. Brad, any final thoughts you want to add? Any amazing, just knowledge that you want to spread here in the last couple of minutes?
I'm all knowledge out. I will say this, though. I'm really grateful to be on here with you, Dustin, but also with all of you guys, because we've seen this community grow over the last, 7-8 months now. And
we came in about the same time.
Yeah, it's about the same time. I got to say this. I may have mentioned it before, but I'm doing a Thanksgiving video where I go over what I'm thankful for. But the spoiler alert is that being in the card hobby again, it's not about the cards for me. The cards are more like a connection to my youth, which is nice. But the biggest joy I've gotten is the interactions with you guys. That is the fun of it, to see these jokes, to be able to banter and to connect with guys like you, Dustin, and Ziggy, and I see Corey and Ben and Baby Swagoo and JJ. That's the highlight for me. So I would trade any card I have for more of this, because this is the fulfilling part for me. So I just want to thank you guys and kind of give you that Thanksgiving theme.
I don't want to take, steal Brad's thunder, but I'm actually going to be releasing a video the day before Thanksgiving, thanking all of you guys for being with us.
Well, I'll be releasing it 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's actually going to roll out right after this ends.
Hold on, let me open another tab. I have it uploaded here. But seriously, like, this is the highlight, and I think that's why you do this as well, Dustin, because it's just fun, man. We get to shoot this shit. We get to be ourselves and just banter.
Yeah, no, it's true. I have more hobby friends. I've made more hobby friends over the last 7 months than I have like longtime friends. And I've gotten back in touch with old friends, just like with you have with Andy. What's his channel name? It's escaping me.
Fantasy football
card quest. Yeah, but that's like a guy you knew from childhood, and now you've reconnected with. And I have the same stories.
Yeah, and I will say that with this hobby, because a lot of us got into it as kids, that is where there's a lot of magic, because fathers and sons, fathers, daughters, mothers, sons, mothers, daughters, WNBA cards. I'm hearing a lot more about WNBA cards now. Who knows, women's US soccer cards. Either way, it's just a good way to connect, right? I think that's, at the end of the day, to have the cards you want, but to not have anyone to share them with or talk about them with or trade with. I think you're missing the biggest upside of the hobby. And I hate how like hallmarky that sounds, but I just believe that's true. Ben, way to go, Ben. Way to bring down the thankful vibe. Yeah.
Negative Nelly Ben. But hey, I will tell you, we did hit 100 just for a second. I saw it. We got to 100 just for a quick second.
Who had 11 accounts? It looks like the computer froze right when that 11th account was opened.
When my audio went weird, it was because I was trying to get in and out of all my accounts.
We need that hacker to come on in. Seriously. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, and I know I'm joking around, but I echo Brad's sentiments as well. I mean, this has been actually, I didn't honestly, and maybe Brad knew it was going to work from day one, but I didn't know if anyone was going to watch my videos. I started making videos, and it was like, there might be nobody.
I knew people would watch my videos. I didn't think anyone would watch yours, though.
Dang,
I was like, holy shit, Dustin has viewers? What?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
All right, I'm just being modest. I knew that you guys were going to be here. No, but I don't have any sort of YouTube. I know Brad had 1 million viewers on his real estate, thing, whatever. He had already been in broadcasting and all that stuff. I'm brand new to all this stuff, so I was.
My hair had been in broadcasting. That's pretty much the only part.
Brad knew his hair was going to bring at least 1,000 subscribers.
Come on, man! Like extra conditioner tonight, just so it would shine.
Hey, man, I'm turning 40 next year, and I've still got a full head. I don't care if it turns gray as long as I've got some. I'm good.
Well, with a modeling background, it's good to have a bit of gray because then you're distinguished and then you get different jobs. You usually get like the nicer end jobs. So the touch of gray actually will mean that people will take you more seriously. So like when you have your videos, people will be like, I could trust this guy. He has a little salt and pepper. The
difference between Brad and I is just my modeling career is just starting a little bit later than his did. I'll be that 50-year-old like silver fox.
Yeah. The Depends diapers guy.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be the guy with the
no one knows.
Dockers khakis for everybody. Yeah. I feel man. That's a good note to end on. The adult diapers.
We go on tangents, but that's the fun part. Is this can take us anywhere. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks very much for joining again, and we will see you again next time. We'll have Brad on again at some point. Last time he was on, I lost 196 subscribers, so hopefully we don't have that same sort of incident, and we can have Brad back on. So
yeah, we'll see. No promises, though.
No promises. All right. Have a good night, guys. Appreciate it.